What's something you feel as a trade that we have harder than others? Oh, well, I know this answer. What do you think? Let's compare to our nemesis, the electricians.
I always thought to myself, being a Sparky, right? Once you've done a couple of wiring up, there's nothing much different coming your way for the rest of your career.
Yeah.
Because you're just going to be wiring up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As a plumber, I think to myself, there's different boilers, there's different fuels, there's different scenarios, and it's more problem solving. And I just think like our trade as a heating and plumbing engineer, there's so much to contend with.
Isn't it?
Even just the amount of tools you need. You ever done like a simple job and had to empty like half your van just to do the job?
Last night, my dad, we was putting this little porch roof over the front door on the house build. And he was going, God, bloody all the tools I've had to get out for that little roof. And I went, that's my daily life, Dad. Like, literally, you want to change a radiator, you need hoses, drill bag, screw box, fittings. Yeah, I said, you're lucky you haven't even had to get any fittings out of this roof. Like, this is, this is my daily, like, I think the worst aspect of my trade is the tools in and out of the van. Yeah. It drives me mad. Yeah, it's the worst part. I quite like the job once all the tools are in the job, but doing that, and there's always that one more thing, and you slowly throughout the day you're getting more and more out of the van, and then you're absolutely shattered by the end of it, and you're like, I've now got to pack all of this away, and you want to sling it all in, but you can't because it won't fit in otherwise. You have to put it away properly.
Exactly where you got it from.
Yeah.
Because I'll be driving home and thinking all night next day, like, that's not where it is. That's not where it is. I've got to sort the van out before I go work in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, man, it's crazy. So what's something you think that's getting more challenging with, like, stuff today that sort of plumbers of past never had to deal with? I think it's the uptake of different, like, say, technologies and, like, tools and fittings that we have to deal with. They just had copper, that was it.
Yeah.
And cast iron,
like a bucket with like 4 tools in.
Yeah.
Still
that old like junior hacksaw that did everything. And you're like, how
he's bending a big 2-inch pipe over knees. I actually thought about that. It's like all the different fuels, all the different boilers. There's a lot more to think about nowadays, isn't there?
Yeah.
But my granddad was a plumber. I think I asked my mum what he used to do, tiling swimming pools and doing pipe work like that. And I think to myself, well, there's not really much extra they had to do than what we're doing now, in a sense.
Yeah. I think what was easier for them was that I feel like when they were building houses back then, there was like room allocated for what they needed to do. Yeah. So like your steel barrel pipes will be going through here, your cast iron stacks will be doing this. This is how like now you get like a builder and you walk in and they're like, I want a plant room under this kitchen sink. Can you do that? Because that's the only, you're like, or you have to do some magic with a spade bit, trying to drill through like multiple joists at once at the perfect angle so you can bend your pipe through and all the rest of it. And you're like, this never used to be a thing. And then the builder pipe's like, what, do we have to build the house around you? You're like, you're having a laugh, but this is ridiculous.
You think the rules as well, we're playing by the rules more.
Yes.
Well, some of us are, some can't.
Mate, I remember Ray taught me he'd have this like box of push fit, mate, and it's like it ain't a £1 Yeah. He's like, well, go. They must make something up like that. So you're pushing different manufacturers in different holes, and I used to look at. I remember the extension he did in his house, and I was under the floor. He chucked me under there. It was a bungalow, so I'm on my hands and knees, and in a trenches built. This thing, I'm walking around, and the stuff I was putting together, I remember going back there like 15 years later, and this guy had bought his house, and but the sticker was on the old water softener, and I pulled this cupboard open, and at the time I was only 18, so I didn't know any different or whatever. I pulled this cupboard open, and I was like, oh my God, the monstrosity in here. It was horrendous, and I remember so clearly, it was just like whatever he had in the van, he was making it happen. It was going on. There was never just going and getting some more fittings. He was like, no, we'll do a bit of plastic here, a bit of barrel there, then we'll go back into brass, and then I'll end feed it into a push fit, and then we're away.
Like 100 quid's worth of fittings.
Yeah.
Friday, 3 o'clock job.
What do you think is getting easier, either for you or as our trade as a whole? We're going to listen to the silence then, because it's not getting easier. What are we talking about easier? The bills are getting higher.
Someone help us.
Something costs. It's nice. Me and Billy, we went down to home of Lawton of Copper Piping, didn't we? We went down there, and I found, I don't know about you, but I learned so much about copper pipe when we were there. It was fascinating, wasn't it?
I'm one of them geeks. Like, I think when I've got this copper in my hand, I'm like, where's this come from? How has it got to this tube? Like,
Yeah.
and then when you find out it's come, where do you say, Cambodia or something?
Oh, I don't know. They get bringing this raw material. It comes out as sort of like malleable copper pipe, doesn't it?
Crystals.
And then they just basically bung the hell out of it and just create whatever tube size you want and shine it up and put it in a petrol cleaner, get all the rubbish out. But the quality control is interesting. You know, when they sort of, they put a diamond onto it and then through a microscope, they can have a look at the quality and all the rest of it. Because talking about plumbers of past, I asked him, have you made copper thinner and therefore the quality isn't there? And I didn't realise that's absolute nonsense. I thought, you know, we used to be with like table Y or X or whatever it used to be. And I thought maybe they'd made copper thinner and therefore that's why it's rippling and pinholing in places and stuff like that. And it's not that. He just has to abide to like EN, whatever the number is. Let's say
057, I think.
Oh, God.
Just let me check my tattoos.
Off the top of the dome, I love that. So and he said, no, that's the standard now. There's no table Y and X. This is what we're doing it to. And it's been like that for years. And that was something I had no idea.
Copper was like 3 times thick.
Yeah, like back in the, I mean, you know, when you rip scrap out, you can feel it, and you like you say, you could bend it around your knee and it didn't kink. But yeah, I found that quite interesting. So I wonder how the old boys would get on now today with the new copper. A little bit of a mare.
Do you think the game was harder back in the day? I seen someone just like doing lead.
I reckon the installation was manually harder, but the simplicity of the systems were a lot easier. Right, you know, it was a hot and cold tap to a bath, a basin, and like your cold feet to a toilet. Off a tap. That was it. Like where like now we've got like, you know, booster pumps and water softeners and treatment plants and and all of that sort of stuff that goes into houses now is incredible. Yeah,
they're just making stuff up nowadays.
I
heard Mr. Johnny Cruikshank saying a DMX plan. I was like, what's this guy made up?
XCOM, give it to you.